Stalker, the best game of all time, is here again. Last time we ended up having the bartender take a pile of different papers from us. Now we're being sent to the scientists at the Yantar research base, and that's where we will find out where else we will be sent. Pour your favorite drink, kvass for example, the simulator of courier among the Hobos continues, a new episode of Stalker is on the air. You come to the Yantar base, blow away the zombie hobos, and enjoy the local beauties while the chief scientist says dada to you through the wall.
Dada? Dada? Dada?
As soon as you go in, the scientist will immediately stop giving dada and start begging his comrade to do the calibration, and the latter will that he doesn't want to.
Я тебя очень прошу, сделай это. Мы все от этого зависим.
Все зависит от того, когда вурдалаки влазят.
Dada will change to but not for long.
Dada?
It turns out that the X16 is the right office, but you can't just get in there. Special equipment is required. The scientist Dada has it, but it doesn't work, and it needs to be calibrated.
Dada?
You agree to take a partner, he mumbles something, you calmly go out. And he begins to have an exuberant joy. You bulldoze the Hobos away and actively sucking in all the air in area, walk on. The blowout begins. You're getting flashbacks again.
Лыкай, мы не можем его так бросить. Бросай.
The scientist takes measurements and you stomp back.
Dada? Dada?
It turns out that the device is now working, but it still does not work because it is necessary to turn off the emitter. And to do this, you need to find the right person. Although he's probably already dead. But where he died, there is another right person. However, he also is most likely dead. You run into the installation, poke all the switches, catch a flashback about being treated by an old man.
Держись, сынок. Я о тебе позабочусь.
You run down the gut to the street and go to a very agreeable doctor.
Dada? Dada? Dada?
He thanks you for your work and sends you to the bartender. And that means...
Проходи, не задерживайся.
The bartender tells you that you are doing well and have already gone to the right office. But now you need to turn off the brain burner or emitter. The other thing! And along the way you have to help the local muffins with some kind of problem. So you move on. You see 3 clowns showing you a spectacular trick. Collect swag from them. Then the local hobo asks you to deal with other hobos. You tiredly refuse such an exciting action and speedrun forward. After 10 meters you meet the commander of local hobos and he asks you to rout the Hobo sectarians. You have no choice, so you agree to it. You fight. Along the way you listen to insights from a local broker. You are thanked, and now you have to run through another incomparable number of hobos. This is where the game begins to piss you off. Stalker turns into Serious Sam, but worse. Much worse. Much worse, bleh. And then, in the best traditions of the local plot, you go down some hall and pull the switches, turning off some kind of burner, emitter, a device, and they show you a movie, how you try to reach a huge balloon. Now you're starting to be furiously invited.
Иди ко мне.
And somewhere in here is the ending, but you don't go there. It's a bad ending. If you play carefully, which means you dig into all the Wikipedias you see, then you know you have to go somewhere else. Here we need to stop in more detail. The point is that here we can come to the Wish Grantor, just as we planned. Actually, this is the one who calls us. Actually, Actually, this is the one who calls us. And that's how I got through this game for the first time, but it's a bad ending. The Monolith grants people's wishes, but as backwards. What exactly the hero asks for depends on how you went through the game. Yes, you cannot make a wish yourself. Strelok can ask for power over the world.
Дай мне власть над миром.
And then he will be sucked into the stool. Meh. Also, the Marked One can ask for a zone to disappear.
Я хочу, чтобы зона исчезла.
And it disappears. History is being rewritten and everything changes. But then the fate of the Marked One also changes, and in a new parallel reality, he becomes a Higawit one. Yeah, my condolences. Next! Strelok can ask for riches.
Дай мне богатство.
Then beams will fall on him, and he will think that it is money. Actually, it is not a bad ending. Metal mining is a very profitable business. He just had to step aside. The Marked One can ask that all people disappear altogether.
Человечество неисправимо. Оно должно быть уничтожено.
Our dumpling forgets that he is also a human being and must disappear along with everyone else. And if there are no people, there are no electricians. So there will be no more light. And the last option? Immortality. Our dumpling asks for it.
Дай мне бессмертие.
He takes off his glove and immediately turns into a T-1000. Because it is known that it can be bargained with, it can be reasoned with, it doesn't feel pity. A good choice. Ignoring all invitations, you leave. Hobos, helicopters, lots of dogs, people are waiting for the bus here. Finally, you reach the place where you saved the shoestring from the dogs in the beginning. You see that he didn't understand his lesson. But there's a new man here now. This is an important person. You watch him sniff a loaf and shove it up his ass. He says that you, surprisingly, need to break through the Hobos somewhere else. You leave him alone with a loaf and have a fascinating run. You crash into an invisible wall, go groping around and find the right manhole by the presence of Hobos, which makes sense. See the local aqua disco, get in the hole and explode. Old man scolds you for this chewing continuously at the same time and says you have to go to another office. You come to Pripyat and join a group of heavily breathing Hobos. Turn off more Hobos, watch the fancy death of one of them. Go to the stadium. There's a Hobo circus and the waltz show right now. But you go on and find yourself at a massive Hobo battle. There's no point in shooting each other anymore. The game now just throws walls of Hobos, helicopters, anomalies and blowouts at you. So, under the explosions of helicopters, anarchy and chaos, you run forward to the most interesting part. More specifically to a shootout with Hobos under the insistent invitations of the Hobo-in-Chief.
Ты обретешь то, что заслуживаешь. Твой путь завершается. Иди ко мне, иди ко мне, иди ко мне.
The enemies here are almost impossible to defeat. You take a headache pill and you think you are going to wish the Wish Grantor would finally shut the fuck up. Come here, meatballs. Why aren't you here yet? You find the secret door, knowing perfectly well that you can't just open it. Not without another bombing with the Hobos. That's it, the door is open, the game is over. Forget it. Hobo! And the anomalies, of course. And finally, 6 months later, the main task. To solve the mystery of the zone. You solve it in a specific way by having a mixture of a riot and a Rammstein concert. So, our hero, after having broken everything with his marked meat hooks, decides to ask.
Excuse me, who are you?
This brainy is told. We are scientists. We're doing research here, you know? Buttercup.
Research? Where the hell am I then?
Well, it is a testing ground. We do experiments here, far away, so buttercups like you don't mess it up.
And what happened to me?
So you got here, and we decided to whack you, so you wouldn't bring more retards like you. It is impossible to explain the shit to you dummies. It is easier to remove you. But something went wrong, and here you are, Muffin.
And I exactly here? Did you blow up the reactor? And what is S.T.A.L.K.E.R?
Look, I'm sick of you already. What do you want? The reactor blew itself up, and we settled here. But even their duration didn't scare you. There is no more room to stuff your asses with bread, obviously.
And what now?
Well, you can join us. We will give you an assignment, and we will work here. Make discoveries, you know. Ой, блядь. Or you can blow it all to shit because it's complicated, you buttercup. Since our hero is a dumb twat, in a canonical ending he naturally trashes everything. You can, of course, choose another one, but it's no use. The zone is gone, everything fine now. Grass here, little dragonfly. No inconsistencies in the plot, there will be no sequels. Or will there? So, we got through the S.T.A.L.K.E.R, the best game of all time. There are no other good games. This is all Western propaganda. Dumps, Hobos, stale loaves and criminal Slavic songs. All this will remain in our hearts forever. If you have not played this game yourself, play it, блять. And if you don't get the plot, that's okay. Nobody gets it. And that's all for today. My name is Mark. Subscribe, comment, like, and see you next time, блять.